here. Okay, I'm officially calling the business or the meeting to order at 11:35, so we can go ahead and start, and they'll start the recording. So, welcome to our last meeting of the year. Unfortunately, neither one of our co-chairs could be here today. They just had other issues. One was out of town, and then one unfortunately had a death in the family, so she couldn't be here. We'll just get started. I know that y'all have seen the multiple emails about the meetings that we've had for the public meetings for the ESTEAM and the Quaver health curriculum. And so we did have some parents show up to the last two that we had. Several parents from Caldwell, I don't remember where the parents, and Owens and Jack. And so those went very well. We're able to answer the questions that they had. Everybody seemed very pleased with the curriculum materials. And so we will be taking those to the board on May 5th. But the last thing that we have to do is bring that to y'all. And y'all have all had the opportunities as well to look at that. And so we have to do one final approval after our discussion and finalize that approval before we take it to the board. So does anybody else have any objections to taking that to the board on May 5th?
Just in discussion, just a quick question, and this is going back to the very beginning of this
yes, sir.
year. And I want to be just sure I'm crystal on the opt-in,
yes.
opt-out. I guess that was probably the driving question.
It's only an opt-in next year, so parents will have to complete a permission slip, whether it's paper or digital. We don't know quite yet, but they will have to do that permission to opt in next year, and that's a state requirement.
To even participate.
Correct, in those special lessons.
And it is related to that particular education section.
Correct.
They'll be excluded otherwise. So parents are in full control here.
Yes.
And that opt-in notice, as you've already clarified, will be such that it'll be hard for a child to do that on behalf of the parent. The parents will have to theoretically be kids can't sign it, be a parent doing this.
Yes.
Okay, in what age group? Just again.
Fourth grade.
Okay.
In elementary school.
Right.
And then
6th grade for PE,
Okay.
7th grade in science, and 9th grade in high school health.
Okay. So 4th grade, 6th grade,
PE, they do it in PE class, and they do 7th grade, they do it in science, and then in 9th grade, they do it in their health class.
and in all those instances, we'll have an opt-in.
It's not a choice, it's an opt-in.
Required.
It's required by the state, yes.
And that's the ESTEAM curriculum for the secondary levels and the Quaver for the elementary.
I think that was my primary.
Any other questions that anybody had? Okay. Well, with y'all's approval, we will be taking that to the board at the workshop on May 5th. Okay. Okay. So our next item on here was just to discuss the school year. I know we didn't get a lot of big projects or anything done this year. Is a lot of learning, COVID and new that was going on this year. So and rebuilding our SHAC from the ground up. So hopefully next year we will have some new ideas. So that's also something that we want to start now. Any ideas that y'all want to take on next year? So kind of researching. The SHAC is really supposed to be a parent-driven committee. It's not something that the school district is supposed to come to y'all and say, okay, this is what y'all need to do. And so we want the parents to really take hold and bring to us, these are the ideas that we think need to be at the forefront, and these are the issues, and then y'all bring recommendations to us. And so as y'all do research looking at SHACs across Texas, there's great websites on the Department of State Health Services that can give you ideas and different things that SHACs across Texas are doing, different projects and things. And so I would highly recommend that you look at those, look at different school districts, major school districts like Richardson and Houston, Hurst Bedford, and different things. Look at their SHAC websites and see what kind of things they're doing to get ideas, things that we maybe could institute here. I know White House ISD, it might be a smaller school district, but they have a very active SHAC as well. So I would really like to see our SHAC become more active. We need more parents, so bring a friend. We've tried this in the past. Terrence, welcome.
Hello.
Long time no see. Oh, you can't quietly come in. So sorry. That's just kind of where we want to go. So if you have any ideas, you can start throwing them out now, if you've thought of any. I don't know if our co-chairs will want to stay on next year. They can serve a 2-year term, or if they would like to step back, I'll be in touch with them to see if that's something that they want to do or not. If somebody else is interested, then I'll also throw that out to them to see if one of them wants to step down. So, does anybody have anything they want to add? Hi.
Open.
Open discussion.
So that's a 2-year, so they're on their first year of a 2-year term.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Because they just started this year.
Correct. Okay.
Yes, sir. So,
Question.
Do students still stay involved?
so
Okay.
we have tried, but they have not been here this year. So, yeah, they have not participated this
Does
year.
that go out, I guess, I'm curious about, I was quizzing my junior last
Mhm.
month and actually going over a bunch of stuff, just real quickly, at Legacy. And so did they get, I guess, the high schoolers who y'all enlist and y'all have some kind of information that goes out to them that tells them, hey, you want to participate in this? Or
So
how-
in
what
the
does that look
past, in the past, it was held at CTC, and we had students there at that school that participated, and they kind of worked it so that students that were at that program, and because they have students rotating in and out of there from both high schools, the counselor chose students from each high school to participate.
Got it.
And so that's a consideration that we're making, is moving the meetings back to CTC so that we can kind of go with that model, because we didn't get a lot of buy-in for them to.
Sure. Okay.
That makes sense
Yeah.
too, because they have the health sciences program there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're kind of captive audience in a sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Select.
Students wanting to get involved and interested.
Yes.
It's a good idea.
Would that change? I mean, it was designed for that, I guess. So if kids were participating, the younger high schoolers, I guess we'd have the same open forum dialogue we have
Mhm.
that we've had here. That's great.
Yep. I mean, when they would come, it's interesting to see their concerns that they bring up and they
Sure.
give their outlooks and things of how they view the things going on at school. Back when they were participating, it's been a couple years when they were really coming. Some days they wouldn't come because of testing and things like that. But, we were talking about vaping. That was the big vaping initiative that we did.
Okay.
And some of them, depending on what they were involved in at school, saw it as a big issue, and some of them were like, oh, no, I never see any of that. So their outlook on it,
Yeah.
depending on what they were involved in, was totally different, but some of them had some really good input. And then when we did the videos, they were able to give input on that. Some of them participated in the videos. So it was really good.
I guess next year will be something a little different anyway,
Mhm.
so depending on topic.
Yep.
That'd be great. That's a great idea.
Are there any employee health? I mean, I got.
Give us all the things, Terrence, because I know you're involved in SHACs everywhere.
Yeah, I'm involved in multiple SHACs. Are there stuff related to employee health that has been on the back burner for a while? Hasn't?
So we have a whole new wellness program now in Tyler ISD. It's called WAMIT.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait a minute, I thought you meant that.
No, it's wellness.
I haven't heard of it.
Go to my website.
Oh,
Nope. It's called Wellness, Health, and Movement in Tyler ISD. We have a new app called Wellable that we use where staff can earn points for logging activity and everything. We have a whole WAMIT store where they can earn swag and go spend their points, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese. We do monthly challenges every month that they're geared towards different things. So every month is totally different. So like April, the focus is sustainability. So they're also learning about environmental wellness as well as physical wellness. And so they get emails geared towards that. May is going to be happiness challenge. So they get to do happiness special activities as well as doing their physical activities and things. So
But that launched this school year.
it did launch this school year. We launched it in January.
Do you know when y'all will do an evaluation? See how frequently it's utilized?
We're doing it monthly to see. I have an admin site, so I can, and I have so it's a site that we're using, so we can constantly see the engagement on it. Does she? I mean, she can pull up the app and show you. So I can see daily how many people are actually engaging in it, how many are logged in, and we are providing it free for all of the staff. We've already bought a year-long membership to it, but we will look and see how long that's going to last. We're bringing on a physical health and nutrition counselor or coordinator that's going to be a certified personal trainer with a nutrition certification. They'll provide workouts for the staff, nutrition counseling, do seminars and things like that. They'll be working flexed hours, so they will be bringing in community volunteers to do a full calendar of workouts as well. So all kinds of different things. Our whole theme next year is wellness. That's going to be the theme for convocation. We're doing a health and wellness retreat with all of the executive leadership and principals in June for 4 days to Austin.
We're doing professional development both in June and in August for self-care and looking at how to deal with trauma, your own like issues, so you can be better prepared to work with students that are or have experienced trauma. And then focusing on, what are some ways that we take care of ourselves so that we kind of stay healthy mentally as well as physically.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Would that bleed over into, obviously, as far as the curriculum for SHAC, that'll be a focus in the SHAC, I guess, or will we kind of, with the students, if we have them engaged as well?
Our kind of goal is, because we're looking at if the teachers get healthy, then they will be happier, healthier, and it will bleed over. A lot of the challenges in the Wellable program, we have told them that they can use those activities in their classroom as well. And some of them have. I've seen some of the elementary teachers saying, okay, I'm in a step challenge, so let's go. We need to get up and walk in place and get extra steps. We need to go and do this. And so they're doing it that way. My own daughter came home and said, hey, my teacher told me she's in a competition, and I bet it's your competition. It's like, she better not be beating me. So they're getting excited together to do it. That's really our goal. Like Lori said, we realize that not only the physical health, but the mental health has taken a toll on everybody over the last several years. And so we're really trying to take the holistic approach with everyone. And we think if we can help our teachers, it can then bleed over into the classroom and hopefully help our students as well.
So like sustainability, just to we're on this point, I think I might mention my daughter started a recycling program in Terminal School. Is that, yes, she's Melissa I said. And so with our junior high kids, is that kind of the sustainability? So you could start programs, teachers could start recycling programs, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And so each month, like I said, each month has a different thing. So we're going to do there's a healthy sleep month. There's in 1 month there's summer safety, those are in the thing there, and then immunity is a month, and then sometimes there's team challenges, so they can really, I think one of them is in September when we're really coming back with new staff, and our challenge to all of our staff is going to be building teammates with the new staff members so that they can really build those people up, get them integrated into their staff, not just going in and building teams with people that you've always been friends with, that you've worked with for 15 years, so that we can really build those families and mentor them.
Support.
So, and we're not really, we have those staff members that run marathons. We had one of my nurses ran the Boston Marathon yesterday. She did so awesome. Yes. The nurse at Jack Elementary, if anybody ever sees her, Beverly.
What's her name?
Beverly Potcotter. She ran the Boston Marathon yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
We're so proud of her. Anyway, but those staff that always run and work out, we don't want them all gathering up and saying, oh, we're going to whoop everybody. So we saw in our first challenge. We want those, one of those, to go out and gather the ones that don't ever work out and make teams with those people and really encourage them and mentor them through the program. So that's our goal in our next team challenge. So.
Do you have employees at every campus that are active
We do.
in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm. We do. We have our women ambassadors that we've trained and
They get the
go out and try to build them up. So it's slowly trickling out, challenge by challenge, peer pressure.
That's good.
As we build up our store, we've had community partners that are donating gift cards to our Willamette store. I mean, they can go and buy like massages and manicures and things like that, but they can also get like a Tyler ISD polo or so. It's been good. They've enjoyed it.
That's great.
What else you got? What else do you think, looking at our SHAC, because it hasn't been super active, but like I told them, like thinking of things that other SHACs might do that we could possibly be doing.
White House, I helped them create a student health. It's the White House ISD Student Health Hero Award. So we as Net Health, we do a public health award every year, and they just copied and pasted general adult public health leader for a student leader. Kind of like what you were mentioning, Jason, with your daughter doing a recycle program. So I mean, any student that's doing a notable community health project at their campus or something that benefits, that it can benefit the district, or if it majorly benefits their campus, there could be some type of external tangible recognition for that student that can reflect back onto the SHAC. The SHAC is the judging committee to select that individual student.
Okay.
We could recognize some student organizations that are already doing things
Yeah,
like that.
that's what I was
too.
thinking. Like,
Yeah.
there's some
'Cause I
doing
know
blood
there's-
drives and things like that, and
Collecting, like,
like
I know there's-
honor society and student councils and things like that, or even like at CTC, some of theirs are doing certain things.
Legacy has a Z Club that's designed for young women, young ladies, and I know that they were collecting health and wellness things and donating them
Yeah.
to different organizations. So just to highlight that, that would be a great way, see what the students are doing.
Is there a list, is there an inventory of every type of project that every campus is doing in some way? Like for me personally, I only hear about it if I know somebody at the individual campus. But
Right.
Are you talking about like the service projects that they all do?
Yeah.
Like at the high schools? At the high schools,
Or not just high school, just any.
right.
all-
I know at the high schools, they have people that are in charge of those. At the elementary level, I think that it's just,
Per teacher.
it's like when I was at the elementary, it was every grade level had a service project that they did, so it would be based on that grade level lead. I don't know if they had a person that was in charge.
As far as an actual list, I'm not aware
Yeah.
of any specific list that's like public that you can put
There's
out
not a
there.
comprehensive district
Right,
list.
Yeah.
right. But that would be it's a good idea.
Are you thinking as a SHAC?
I think
Like
as
a
the
SHAC
yeah.
task, maybe?
It
Help
would be good.
formalize that list.
Just as a
Because most of them
So
are the
everybody
same
know
every year.
what's going on throughout the district. And if something's going well at one campus, another campus can
You mean like
decide they want to take it on or put their own little spin on it. Because they're trying to come up with everything from scratch.
Right.
honor off that list and use that as a gauge to recognize people, similar to the White House.
And that it doesn't have to necessarily be recognition, but more of a support group type. This worked at Andy Woods. This may work at Raymond, or what we did at Orr. You could tweak a bit for it to work at Jack or
That's a good opportunity for involvement too, for kids, so they, maybe non-athletic people can get
Kids
involved.
talk, kids have friends at other campuses
Yeah.
and they'll want to kind of spur each other on. I mean, not for it to become competitive, but more.
Yeah.
Right.
Engagement.
Uh-huh.
recommendation.
I like that.
On the food initiative side of things, that was one thing that I was even last night thinking about. Of course, we talked about last meeting the limitations with COVID and the kind of farm to school, farm to cafeteria situation and all that, with the local produce. But value any thoughts? Is there and this is probably answered in the fact to look at other SHACs and see what they're doing, but anybody here, is there something we could do, encourage innovatively, simply, that would be something we go, hey, this might be great for the kid? I mean, getting on the practical level, what's in the vending machine, what kind of chips, the most basic of things, but that might be a win with the young people. Ideas, have y'all thought about that at all? I know, like my daughter, she doesn't eat at the cafeteria. And so I was asking her a lot of questions on our survey, but she usually carries lunch. But the snack machines, kind of what food's on campus available, or she doesn't take lunch or forgets it. How does she scrounge around and make do during the day? I don't know from the food, because we talked a little bit about food quite a bit actually. Right. And as far as that's any thoughts, you guys say, hey, y'all see this on campus, or I thought this would be a neat idea. It's got to be implementable and easy. And it feels like these are really, people are doing a lot of hard work, by the way. I want to praise that from that last meeting. But I just asking that question in a general way about the food.
You mean actually in the food service line or for the vending machines?
Maybe kind of vending machine just on campus. Like I said, something real on the level of the kids. I think that we have such amazing staff. I just kind of witnessed that last time. Like, this is pretty, a lot of hard work being put into this to do the very best they can, especially with COVID. So I'm thinking even just on a practical level, is that something on the vending machine side? Any thoughts? Or when y'all you're walking on campus, do y'all go, man, we wish we had this, right? This is not convenient.
That would honestly, I would have to ask Victor,
Okay.
because he kind of is over the food services, and he manages that. So I would be speaking out of turn, honestly, to even answer that. I don't know what goes into choosing the things that go into the vending machines and making those choices. But I think that it would definitely be worthwhile to discuss it with him.
Just saying for the kids, don't go to the cafeteria, don't take a lunch,
So is your daughter saying that it's more junk food-ish, or or what type of things does she want?
She was actually not, I was pestering her.
Right.
She's trying to school. I pulled her aside and got a few minutes. But anyway, she was like, I said, so show you this? No, yeah. And she was talking about, I guess they've changed the chips in the vending machines. It was good to hear.
So they're on the more healthy side?
Yes,
And
exactly. And
I
so
gotcha.
I was just thinking of,
Yeah.
okay, on the food stuff side, I'm thinking next year, constructive topics, as I'm just throwing that out as brainstorming only, but would there be something else that would be, hey, this would be a win for us? We know there's healthy food for the kids, consistent with the wellness initiative, but kind of really gets them engaged in more healthy eating.
But then also encouraging them to make healthy choices, because like you'll have kids who are getting like just chips, for lunch.
There you go.
Right.
Even if there's other stuff available. And I was thinking like with the local stuff, have like kind of in the same vein, like you had like a monthly topic, like fitness, for 1 month, and you give just different fitness tips or exercise tips, nutrition for 1 month, and how to deal with anxiety for 1 month, because that's a huge one in high school. Just different stuff like that. Like, what if we kind of carried that over to the students and just had a monthly topic of this month we're going to focus on this, and just kind of give them some tips and stuff
Like over
that.
announcements, like in the morning, just
Yeah,
have like
just
those little things.
Email or, however we want to pop it out to them, but just a thought.
Yes.
Anxiety.
Or even if the topic correspond to the Willable app, or what would
Yeah,
they?
I mean, if it's
Because
something
if the
you're
teachers
working
are all
on,
doing
you
something,
can
they can
click
kind of,
through.
it'd be easier
Yeah,
instead of doing
that's
two
good.
different things. You just kind of they're working on it, help it relay over to the
Yeah,
students,
and then however you want to.
and the staff. That way, everybody's doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
It's a good idea.
I do know that there is another organization at Legacy, and I know more about what's going on in Legacy only because my daughter's there as well and is in part of these groups. But they did do a whole anxiety like that one of the counselors, Elizabeth Solomon there,
Mhm.
is working and did an entire, I want to say it was National Honor Society or something. They did an entire like wall full of like, if you're experiencing this, these are some symptoms, who do you need to reach out to and stuff like that. So they were really focusing this month on that.
My
So
kid
that,
goes to Legacy
yeah.
too, but you probably know.
yeah.
more than I do.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I deal with the counselors a lot, so yeah.
Okay.
But I know because she sent a bunch of stuff to me to approve to be able to be put out there, and it was really great information. It's like if you're experiencing these type of symptoms, you know, reach out to your school counselor, reach out. We also have mental health counselors. I don't know if y'all are aware that we have LPCs that we now employ with the district, and we're expanding that program next year to add another 4 more. And so most of them cover more than one campus, but they're there 2 to 3 days a week on each campus and are there for individual and group therapy sessions. And so we
Do you
do.
just like set up appointments with them?
Well, it's a referral system right now that basically either like more in the elementary level, we have kind of an AP principal referral because they're the ones dealing with the discipline issues, which is usually related to some other issue the student's having. And then at the high school level, it's more through the school counselors. So if a student comes in, they're coming to their school counselor first because they usually have a relationship with that counselor. And then if the school counselor sees that it's something that's a little more intensive, that they need some ongoing support, then they will make a referral. And then the LPC will then call them in and work with them, you know, from a 6 to 8 week period is usually what we try to stay within, some longer depending and some shorter depending on what the issue is. So we are expanding that program, and I'm looking. White House does have a self-reporting system right now with students that they can come in and self-report if they're having some self-harm kind of ideation or just some crisis that they feel. And so I'm kind of looking in that. That's not for sure, but trying to see what we can do next year on our end to help students be able to reach out directly instead of having to go through steps. You know, I mean, we want to have a referral process because we don't want just everyone coming to these counselors because they need it. They have to work on a caseload basis, but it would be helpful to have some students that maybe wouldn't go see someone or not have a relationship with the school counselor because they're shy or they don't reach out to at least be able to catch those kids. So.
Anything, I mean, and we're talking about the STEAM program and all stuff, anything, of course, you guys know, to destigmatize mental health.
Yes.
That's always a battle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Y'all think of anything else? Y'all come up with some great ideas.
So what's the parameters of the SHAC? Like, we go into mental health, kind of overall health. What is that? We want to focus on those areas, everything in there. Is that kind
It's pretty much anything health
of health
related, student health. Nutrition, physical health, mental health, related that you want to tackle. So like it's done bullying, it's done vaping, nutrition, the food services department. I mean, it's encompassed everything in the past. So it's whatever this SHAC feels is an issue that they want to address. So.
You know, this is turn the world upside down. So I'm just going to tell you this because I know it would. But it is interesting that as much as we talk about employees, believe me, I echo the sentiment and observations. Even to the point, y'all know in this age group, especially for young people, it's a different universe than it was 30 years ago when I was in high school. And whenever I was there, but it's one of the things that I've kidded with my daughters about at all ages and levels and different school educational environments is college, high school, wherever they all have these 11:59 deadlines, 11:59 p.m. And so as Isabella's going to bed at 2 a.m., or 1:30 a.m. after she's done that and gets her shower. And that's not because she wasn't studying prior to, and she wouldn't mind me calling her, but that's not because she didn't do the things before, but just her schedule and pace or whatever. And I find it's fascinating interesting that I observe all the girls doing that, even last night with another daughter having to wrap something up, after like 11, finishing something. That as much as we want to promote health, which rest is a critical part of this, that our classroom assignments are popping with due dates at 11:59 p.m. and weekend assignments.
Mm-hmm.
And as again, like I said, I'm not even defining a problem. It's an observation that it does run a little bit counter to the pressure that we didn't experience because we didn't have the technology, thank goodness, to be distracted in multiple ways. But, I had to be in the classroom to begin with. I was that guy. But, it's interesting. And just, that would be a pretty major topic. SHAC would get notoriety if we got to something like that. But that is an interesting thing. As much as we want to see good mental health with our own people, they're under so much stress that they're, and of course, then the pushback would probably, well, now we don't have enough time to get our stuff done.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But sleep, yes. And so, like I
that's
said,
going to be the immediate pushback.
conversation
Yeah.
only, but it's just like, it's kind of a little bit of a contradiction that we know sleep is so critical with anxiety and all the things are under. And yet, we have a system right now that promotes them to get, to get 5 or 6 hours of sleep.
Traveling with you.
And if they're in cross country or anything like that, they're getting up at 5:30 or 6 and going to bed at 1. And why do they have stress? It's just interesting, isn't it?
And she's
It's
got
just they're
classes that she's still
overscheduled.
required to do something every day, even if she's not in that class every day, which is amazing to me because she can log in online and do stuff.
Right.
That's
It's convenient. Okay, I get the convenience part of it, but in one sense, we have probably a lot of kids wrap those things up after 11 or 10, I would imagine. And so they're going to bed at 12 and 1. So.
Situation.
Well, it speaks to a bigger problem of overscheduling. Kids that are over-involved in things or multiple. You want them to be involved in everything they possibly can that they're interested in, but then you have to take into account that there's a time commitment to that. And academics is part of that, but every sports and thing that they interact and engage in it's time consuming as well. So sometimes it's kind of a good life lesson, I guess, about prioritizing your time and figuring out what you really want to do and putting all your efforts into that. But you're right, cross country, swim, all these. I mean, swim does a double. I mean, it's true. Yeah.
Band, football.
Yeah, they're up there
early.
sometimes in the morning and in the afternoon. And so it is a problem. Like it's a pervasive problem. I think we're all overscheduled, honestly.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's just going to help them later on.
Yeah, the stress involved with
So
trying to be in
coaching
some
that at
places.
least, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's SHAC is saying, hey, self-boundary.
Yeah,
Yes.
creating those healthy boundaries for yourself.
Sure.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Turn it at 10. It's okay. It's about excellence, not perfection.
That's right.
Which is a huge
Progress, not perfection.
thing. Yes.
I have some questions actually that made me think of some stuff. I'm 14 in the special department. And I know some
You
things
see a
like
lot.
this, I just don't know how it is like across the board. Like I know a lot of counselors do like kind of social emotional kind of stuff in groups on that. Is it like across the district?
It should be, yes.
Okay.
Now, I can't speak to every campus, but I can tell you that there's a lot of school counselors that work and do lunch bunches and things like that with the elementary. And we'll have self-esteem groups, have a girls group and a boys group, anger management, things like that they're seeing, behaviors. And they'll pull groups together. Or if you have a few that have experienced a loss in the family, some sort of major loss or trauma, they'll bring those kids together. If it's more intensive, usually the LPCs will handle that piece of it for experience-wise. But yes, they'll do little groups, lunch bunches, and guidance lessons too. They're supposed to be teaching guidance lessons in classrooms when they have time.
Is that the major avenue for like? Of course, we talk about this esteem stuff and all that. But
Yeah.
Is that the major avenue for like the mental health kind of stuff in elementaries?
I would probably so. I think our Leader in Me, those guidance lessons, it's supposed to be the teachers are supposed to be implementing, and the counselors, school counselors too. And there's a lot of, I don't know if it's mental health so much as is establishing boundaries and how we speak to each other and kindness and things like that. I wouldn't say that's a mental health focus though, as far as teaching that goes. And that may be something we could look at too. And as we decide what we're going to do with Leader in Me in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the mental health field. I'm a licensed specialist in school psychology for the district, also a parent.
Yeah.
So it's always a balance, just like we were talking about moderating home life and sports and activities in school. It's the same with academics and mental health or health in school, and where do you give and take from, so it's balance.
Yes.
And I know a few of the campuses I'm at, they're really good about working at it,
Yeah.
and I just didn't know, I don't know if that's campus, I didn't know if that was campus-based or district-based, and
So
It kind
working-
of should be district-based
Yeah.
in terms of what the school counselors are all doing. I'm actually working on a comprehensive counseling program where we're going to do a monthly type. There's a lot of things that have needed to be in place as far as organization, because every campus in the past has been kind of operating on its own, and each school counselor has kind of been in charge of their own program. So I'm trying to make it a little bit more unified throughout the district. So so anything that y'all want to suggest as far as mental health, I can also try to incorporate that into what I'm working on as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I've been here close to 10 years. It wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
Because I was at some districts beforehand in grad school and stuff.
Yeah.
Where they had, I'm not trying to put work in, but they had a counselor do an elective, and they kind of rolled in as elective, and they switched it through the week, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But these guidance lessons, I've seen Diana go
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
And I think it's really cool.
Yes.
Of course, my mind's in mental health. But
Yes.
I think it's cool. When we talk about these boundaries and things like that, and that's a good avenue to kind of help them understand and destigmatize when they're young.
Yes.
Because, I work with special education kids, and you get kids in class that are different, have different concerns, and the kids that they grew up with them, they kind of learn that
Right.
this person's like that. Then as they get older, that might stick out, and so it's kind of good for them to accept people as being different. I think that's a
Yes.
good lesson for life.
Absolutely.
Some compassion.
Absolutely. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leader in Me is pretty strong about those types of values. Yes, as far as really focusing on mental health, it doesn't really come up as a specific topic, but it does teach those type of values. So
I know I subbed last week, 4th grade at SHAC, and the Leader in Me, we had a Leader in Me, maybe a 10-minute video on autism.
yes,
And it was great,
Yes.
and one of the kids, I heard him, he was like, yes, and, really got into it. So I thought that was great.
Yes.
And I loved seeing their response to it, so I
yes.
think that it works well.
Jack is it's pervasive across everything. Leader in Me, it's our flagship school, and we're slowly trying to get the other schools involved. COVID has been it was launched right before COVID hit us, and so we're kind of inching our way back to that and kind of doing a restart, I think, for next year. Hopefully, that's my plan.
Okay.
Yeah. To get more schools up to the Jack level. Yeah,
That's great.
it's impressive.
But I think the high school level, just, tips to deal with stress and what to do when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And just basic breathing exercises,
Mhm.
just stuff like that, just to kind of help them, I think would be beneficial, because, it's stressful being in high school. And, mental health is such an important thing that I think everybody is now coming to light, that you don't realize it's all connected
Oh,
with
yeah.
nutrition and fitness and everything else, so.
Students can't learn if they're not emotionally regulated. No. So,
Are the mental health professionals available for employees? Or are they
Not-
just for students?
Not yet. I am working really hard on that. I'd love to have one designated for faculty and staff, and I bring it up a lot. Just it's all about funding, and we need to really lobby TEA to get some funding for right now, because we're doing a lot of funding of these programs with ESSER funds, and those will go away in a couple of years, so we really want to have a way to make this sustainable. So anything we can do to put some pressure on TEA to provide funding for us would be great. So that's really kind of where I am. But yes, that's a focus of mine is if I can get somebody available for staff and faculty.
We do have an employee assistance program.
Yes, we do.
Through our insurance. It provides, I'm gonna figure out how to say this.
We're
Yeah,
being
we have-
recorded.
It's there.
So if an employee calls in, they are screened through their system, and then if they qualify, then they are given up to 3 free sessions with a counselor. And then they can be referred to someone else if they need further counseling. But in that acute phase, then they can talk to somebody on the phone. Some people just need to, diffuse and yes. And so that is a good program that is provided free of charge to every employee in the district. And then if they need those extra sessions, then they can do that either over the phone or there are local people that they can see. There are some that are actually under our insurance plan that are also under the employee assistance program. And so they can try to hook them up after they go through the little qualification. And they can try to keep it so that if they need to be referred out, they can have that continuity of care. So we have several that have followed that route and been able to get some assistance that way.
What has been the census of attendance for this year as far as the blend of employees, community participants, and parents who are not employees that attend SHAC?
It has honestly been different at every single meeting. So we have had some interesting topics at some of our board meetings this year that brought about some different visitors at some of our SHAC meetings. And so early on,
Is that how you really want to say that? Trying to sugarcoat that as much?
early on we
I
had
watched some of
some
them.
different, we had a group of parents at some early meetings that are no longer attending our SHAC meetings now. And then we had some community members that came to our second meeting. I mean, it's honestly, our membership has waxed and waned. It's just different every year. Our co-chairs couldn't be here today. And so it hasn't been, Jason's been here.
Well, thank you.
Chastity's been here. You've been here. So, I mean, these have been our consistents right here. And then we've had about a handful others that have come and gone throughout the
And I missed the first
Yeah.
one in September, and it was just, but I was going to say I listened to, I think, most of the video
Oh, you
audio,
did.
and Talk, y'all had a good turnout.
We did.
Saw a
I
lot
even
of-
came one time that there wasn't a meeting, because I got the date wrong.
Oh.
I did that too.
That's commitment. That is true commitment. Anyway, so yes, I think next year, I mean, we have this facility, and so that's why we did it here, but I think we will try to move it back to the CTC next year. That will help us get our students back in. We need to work to try to find some sponsors for lunch.
That's just a problem with every SHAC.
It is.
Non-employee.
Yes. And most of our employees that are here have kids in the district. I mean, I think all of us do.
I won't next year.
No, you won't. Sorry.
I won't have one next year.
But anyway, but we don't really count as parents if we're working here. So
Yeah, for SHAC.
for SHAC. But we would really like to boost the parent involvement. PTA Council had some people come. We had lots of people come to our public meetings for our curriculum review because we're under adoption for a new health curriculum.
And I had several, we have to have we had several meetings for the curriculum at every middle school and at both high schools. And so every time we had one of those, I would say, we need to get you involved in SHAC. So I would tell them about it. And some of them just don't know. I mean, so it's just them just not knowing or saying they don't know. And then one said, oh, I was there before COVID. I used to come all the time, and I do need to get back involved. So it's, I think if we just maybe send it out again and just really try to press to get some more involved, I think we can do it. Because it was just a lack of just not doing it, But there was a big group, matter of fact, at 3 Lakes that was interested, so.
So we've got a PTA meeting tomorrow that we're going to see, so
I saw it.
Yes.
Be in charge of membership next year, so.
Great.
Beef it up.
Good.
That's great.
Yeah. And we can get it, we do all of our notifications to campuses through that Peach Star system. So we'll get them to send one out to all campuses that way to advertise, because parents read those. So just trying to advertise as much as possible next year.
And you prefer to have lunch
Yes.
if we could get a sponsor. I did think about that. I said that is if you're skipping lunch to show up, definitely get our attendance
It is.
versus
It
you're
is.
coming for
So,
lunch. Yeah.
That's the hard part. So,
Okay.
yes. So, our officers typically go and petition area businesses to try to get, and if they donate, then they can come and, give a little plug at the beginning and talk about their
Okay.
business and how they can help the community and the schools, and yeah. So y'all can keep that in mind. If y'all have any associates or peers or friends or connections out there. So, anybody else have anything they want to add before we adjourn today? No? Okay, well then we will adjourn this meeting at 12:22.